All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted One-on-One from my soon-to-be studios in Hilliard, as we announced earlier, but still in my basement. But I have a special guest today, Annette Duncan. What an honor this is, from the new film called Dolphin Island, and we will get into that in a minute. Let me just read a little bit of her bio real quick, and you all know I'm not real good at reading, but let me go ahead and read her bio. Annette Duncan she has taught English and critical thinking at, is it Carthage?
Carthage.
Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin for 33 years. She's also serving as a Title IX coordinator and leader of Academic Senate. While her stage acting and musical theater experience spans the past 3 decades, in the past 2 years, she stepped into a world of film and television, appearing in television productions such as People Magazine Investigates, which is very interesting. I want to know more about that. In commercials and print products for companies such as Stainmaster, is it Korres? Korres and Apple, and in various documentaries and films. In her latest feature film, Dolphin Island, which we will speak about today, she enjoyed playing the role of SHERYL Williams, though originally from Nebraska, and that has lived for many years in Franklin, Wisconsin, with her husband, Reverend David Duncan, Church of City, Milwaukee. And this is amazing to me. They have 7 children and 7 grandchildren and counting, it says. So welcome to the show. 7 children. What's the mix? Can we just start there? What's the mix?
Sure. Thanks, Aaron. First, I want to say how excited I am to be here with you and to talk about Dolphin Island and things close to my heart. And certainly my kids and grandkids are close to my heart. We have, it's girl, girl, boy, boy, girl, girl, boy. And
wow.
my youngest son was so mad at me that I didn't just even it out, that we let the girls win. But 4 girls, 3 boys. Right now we have 5 granddaughters. They're all very little, and 2 grandsons. But those are just from our first 2 children so far. So we're blessed.
Wow. I can't imagine. So Christmas must be crazy at your house.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. In fact, this year, to be honest, we decided to split it into 3 different actual celebrations. One sort of kid-centered, one, they called it the singles Christmas, my kids that aren't married. And just kind of, we also all got together, of course, for a meal and that sort of thing. But it's a house full when we have everybody here.
I imagine. So what made you, and we'll get into the film because that's really the core of what we're going to talk about is Dolphin Island, which honestly, in a world that we're in right now with so much negativity, so much frustration, it was such a refreshing film for me. My family and I watched it last weekend, my wife and I, and we really I just enjoyed, first of all, she loved the location, and we'll talk about that. I'm sure the location was gorgeous, but the refreshing simplicity of the film was wonderful. So what made you, from going in academia to say, you know what, I think I want to get into acting? What made you make that shift?
Well, part of it is, of course, that I've had a dream in my heart. And when I went to college, I was acting, I wanted to go into acting, but I was a little bit afraid. I hadn't learned to quite jump into life like I have in recent years. And so I went the safe route, which turned out to be the absolutely perfect route for me, and that is teaching. I discovered that I have both a gift and a passion for teaching, and I've been very blessed to be able to touch lives and to make a difference in that way for so long. But I always loved the acting, and I would participate in musicals, first in Nebraska where I lived initially, and then here in the Milwaukee area because Franklin is a suburb of Milwaukee. And absolutely loved it. Kind of helped keep me a little bit sane as I worked full time and had the seven kids. But I didn't really know how to get in film, to be honest. It just seems like this secret world that there are keys to, and I I didn't have them. And then my daughter very handily married an actor from Hollywood. And so that gave me a key right there. And what I discovered, they were living in Hollywood, but they ended up moving back to Milwaukee, at least temporarily, because they were having children. And it's really not impossible, but really a challenge to be two actors raised in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So they moved back here and he started a film school. And though I felt sheepish about it, I said, I'd like to support you. I'd like to join. And they said, wonderful. So I started taking the on-camera classes, discovered that film acting is extremely different from stage acting. I had to relearn so many habits. And then he got me onto Actors Access and Backstage and a few of the sort of platforms that actors use to submit for breakdowns. And the world just opened. It just opened. And I felt so grateful. And so it's been dizzying how quickly this has become part of my life. I love it. And I hope that it just keeps increasing, though I don't want to lose anything in other parts of my life. I just hope that this keeps increasing.
That's awesome. What an opportunity, since that was in some ways your first love, to eventually make that journey, to have those doors open up for you, and especially in a film like Dolphin Island. It's just such a nice film. I mean, are you pleased with? I imagine you're very pleased with the film.
I am so beyond pleased, Aaron. I expected it to be good, and the location and the cinematography I assumed would be beautiful, because I could see as we were filming. I would go behind the cameramen sometimes at a safe distance and watch what they were actually seeing. And we were all just saying, oh, that's breathtaking, that's breathtaking. But the talent that has combined on this film, in all areas, camera, directing, the stage managing, and the actors and everything, it's come together in a way that it was stunning. When we watched it, there were actually, I hope people don't mind if I share this, there were a number of us with tears in our eyes, because of course our red carpet event was virtual. Thank you, COVID.
Right.
But it was still fabulous. It was fabulous. And we were, as I say, stunned at how it all came together. The beauty, the power, like you say, the simplicity. It's not a film that tries to dazzle you. It's a film that tries to speak to you. And I think does so extremely successfully. And as kind of a segue, I want to say what we were talking about a minute ago with sort of a deeply held, long held dream coming to pass. That has tied in beautifully with what Dolphin Island, sort of some of the themes behind it, to try to live true to what you dream and what you hope and what you believe. And even though it looks like it might be a little rocky, you persevere, and it happens. It happens. Good things come. So my life and the film have dovetailed in that respect.
I imagine your role as a grandmother in the film of the young actress was fantastic.
Oh, wasn't she? She
was fantastic. I mean, she's kind of the center of the story. That and obviously the dolphins were amazing, and so I want to get into that in a minute. But she was fantastic. She just, and as a dad of girls, and I have a son and two daughters. As a dad of two girls, I loved her. I just thought she was the best. And she was so wonderful. So as a mom of seven, I have to think that helped as you were into that role, and now grandparent. But as you were playing that role, did that certainly had to help?
Absolutely. Well, because my grandkids are little, And my oldest son just left his teen years. She felt closer. I really kind of drew on my sense of being a mother, which every mother knows is all consuming and so powerful. And what was so beautiful, Taylor Jade Nixon, the actress who played Annabelle, she is a delightful and warm and hospitable, I'll call her. She's always wanting to make connections with people on and off set, and she is she's just full of life in lots and lots of ways. And so she was very easy to connect to, and we developed, I believe, even though it was within a very limited amount, just a few weeks of time, we developed a relationship that definitely played into the movie. As I was talking to her, as I was acting, there was a real sense of love, both connectedness, a mother loving her children, but also just Taylor. She's fabulous. So that made my part really easy. Yeah.
And it's interesting you said that, because as I think back to the movie and watching it, it feels like, and it may have just been the acting of it, but I really feel like as the movie progressed, your relationship with her progressed from the moment you all, and I don't want to give spoilers out. I want people to go see the movie. So I don't want to tell the whole story of the movie, but from the moment you all arrive on the scene in the beginning and introduce yourself to her a little bit, to the scene, and I believe you all were sitting, and correct me if I'm wrong, you all were sitting on like a tree, you know the scene I'm talking about, where there was a really heartfelt moment between the two of you on that reliving some of the story of what would have been her parents. That was a deeper connection in the beginning when you all came on scene. So I think some of that was acting, but it sounds like some of that was just you all getting to know each other and really having a comfort level, but it really played out on film well.
Yeah, it's not impossible if you don't have that to call on the acting skills. But when that warmth and that relationship has been developing, and when you really do care about the person who you're acting out the scene with, it becomes a simple matter to. In fact, a lot of times when a film is being made, a scene will have lots and lots of takes. If you have a lot of characters, it's not out of the question to have 15, 20 takes minimally. I'm sure you know that. But that particular scene, I can't remember, it may have been the first take. It was the first or second take, because
Wow.
it was just, and even Taylor Jade said, she looked at me and she had tears in her eyes and she said, I felt that. And we did. We really, really felt it between us. So yeah, it is, that's a gift. That's a gift in the acting world to have that kind of relationship. And, I'll just mention this too. There was not, and I can say this so genuinely, there was not a single person that I had relationship with, anyone who was in the film, who I didn't have that same sort of connection with. They were all wonderful, wonderful individuals. Really an eclectic group. We had some people from California, we had some people from Florida, I'm from Wisconsin, just I think somebody was from the Midwest somewhere, but very eclectic group. Interestingly, the one who played Desiree is also from Milwaukee originally. So we had two of us who were original Milwaukeeans. And yet, even with all the differing experiences, I think some of it was because we were sort of cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
We were there in that place, which is probably not quite how people would imagine it, in part because of the hurricane that had come through not too long before that. So we were kind of marooned in a good sense. And because of that, I think that helped us to form into a family and gel.
And you really see that in the film. I mean, I think especially, with the small cast, you could really see that. I'm telling you, I got a little teared up when I don't want to spoiler alert when she was saying goodbye. I got a little teared up when she's walking down the deck. That was a hard moment. I mean, there was,
Yeah.
and again, I was found myself emotionally attached to the moment, which I think speaks to all of you and bringing us into the story a little bit. And it was powerful. I literally got emotionally attached
Oh,
to her saying goodbye, and I was a little angry that. Anyway, I don't want to get spoiler alert. I don't want to
right.
spoil the movie. You gotta watch it. All right. So let me ask you this. You mentioned the hurricane. I think a hurricane came through the Bahamas. So this is on location in the Bahamas. Is there really a Dolphin Island in the Bahamas, or was that just because I think there might be, right? Or no?
If there is, I am not aware of it, but
Okay.
I'm an English professor, not a geography professor. so I won't swear by it, but we were on Freeport. And I know there are a number of islands, so there could be a dolphin island, but certainly dolphins are native to that area. And there was there's a technical term that they used, but it's like a home for the dolphins. It's not like a zoo type of place. It's
Okay.
a natural habitat
Mhm.
where they have them there and work with them and train them, but they're still able to have wonderful and very free, happy lives. And so yes, it was in Freeport there.
And beautiful. The water you could see to the bottom. I mean, just the boat scenes, incredible. I probably should have done this at the beginning. The Dolphin Island tells the story of a daughter who has lost her parents. She's living with one of her grandparents on a boat, basically, and being raised at this location called Dolphin Island. The rest of it you'll have to see because spoiler alert. But no, it's a beautiful film. It's a special relationship between the grandfather and the daughter. The daughter is just awesome, and she does just a fantastic job of really. It's just fun. It's a simple, beautiful film about friendship, about family, about it's just such a refreshing thing in the time that we're in right now. So as you were filming, you said the hurricane went through. Were they repairing from the hurricane while you were filming?
It had gone through a number of months before, but because of the isolated nature of the island, since it is very much an island, I'll have to tell you about how we got there in just a moment. That was an adventure, but because it's isolated, and because the hurricane was so devastating to the island, and they were trying to recuperate emotionally and economically and everything, they were still very much in repair mode. For example, one of the challenges that I felt so bad for sort of our executive crew, because there were two things that they really had to fight in the midst of this. One, under some very stringent timelines, they had to fight things like spotty or non-existent internet.
Mm.
Um, Normally, for example, if you are changing a call time or you're sending out the call sheet for the next day or whatever, it's no big deal. You just go on email or text or whatever, and you just send it out to prefab list to your actors, and everybody knows what's going on, where to be and when to be, and we're all there. But here, there were many days and nights and many places in the resort, beautiful resort where we all stayed, where there was no internet access. And so literally they would have to get people to run to different rooms and run around the complex if something changed. I remember at one point, Carbuckle, the lawyer, delightful,
He was
delightful
great.
actor. Oh, he's so funny. And he's that way in life too. But he had been given a day off. And so he was out swimming in the ocean. And then things changed with, outside the control of the producers and so forth. And so somebody had to swim out and get him and say, "You're needed on set," and so the lack of reliable or even existent technology because of what was being repaired. The fact that there were no, you couldn't just go to the store. There was a little tiny on-site sort of convenience store that if you like little individual packets of oatmeal for $4 each, then you could buy one of those and eat. But for the most part, there was not much unless you could get a car to go down to the main part of the city. And so that was a challenge. Weather was also a challenge. I think they managed to make everything look beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
the
Yep.
film just, and it was beautiful, but it wasn't consistently beautiful. There were lots of days where there was intense wind or a deep cold front for the Bahamas, or or complete cloud cover suddenly when we had to shoot a scene that required sunlight. And so they were having to adjust. Everybody, they were troopers, they did it beautifully and professionally, and they made it work. But it was a challenge, partly because the island was still under repair. When we first got there, do you mind if I just kind of go off, Aaron, and tell you about
No, hey, it's unscripted. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of unscripted.
But of course, I'd never been to the Bahamas, and I didn't know what to expect. And so they said that I got to a hotel in Florida, and they said that those of us who were in the Florida hotel would be taken by it's basically like a medium-sized to small boat over to Freeport, and the next morning. And then late that night, we all found out that that boat had been canceled. And it's called a Balearia, and the Balearia was canceled for the next day and for the foreseeable future because of high winds. But we had to be there, the show must go on. And so they really scrambled, and what they were able to find was a little 4-seater prop plane. And so the producer called, and he said, "Annette, I don't really know you yet, but are you up for this?" I'm like, yes, it sounds like such an adventure. So we all packed ourselves, 4 of us, into the little 4-seater, and about probably just a lot of luggage, let's just say that, and flew over to the Bahamas. At one point, the pilot, who was Bahamian, said, "Oh, look, if you look around right now, you can't see land anywhere." And I started to happily look, and then it hit me what he was saying. I wasn't sure I liked it at that moment, but it was gorgeous. But as we descended and came into the airport, and of course, when you get out, you expect customs, and we were prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for was that the airport had been destroyed by the hurricane. And they had not been able to do anything except to set up a little tent, which was customs, and one, actually there were 2 people sitting there. And as we're flying in, just looking at parts of the island were untouched. So I cannot wait to go back. Let's just put it that way, because in the places that are untouched, there is so much beauty. The people of the Bahamas are unbelievably warm, and they reach out to you. It's part of their culture, their makeup, I don't know what, to just be so positive and so welcoming. And so to be there was such a beautiful experience, until you had to go to because we were filming the portions that were not yet repaired. And I just remember thinking, oh Lord, the fact that human beings went through this, and the fact that their spirits are so resilient to pick up and to do the best they can to keep going. For us, it was a minor challenge to not have internet. For them, it means that is going to add months and months
Mhm.
to their lives becoming normal again.
Mm.
So it was eye-opening and sobering. We got into the car, our wonderful driver, who's Bahamian, came, and he gave us some limited commentary as we drove through those parts. Um, and I won't go into all the sad details, but I will say that that it was very sobering, and it made me extremely happy that Dolphin Island has been filmed there. It's
Yeah.
supporting their economy. It's supporting those beautiful people. That's what they need. They need
Yeah.
people to come in and have things be normal again, and stand with them. So that was kind of a side thing, but a very important thing to many of us, I know.
I'm glad you went through that, because I was going to ask you the question of because I believe that I would have to think that filming on location there had to help the local economy at some level. So that's good to hear for sure. And I would think too, I was just thinking as you're speaking, so Nebraska, Wisconsin, and the Bahamas,
Yeah.
3 completely
Right.
different
I could sing one
geographical
of these
areas, I
things
would think.
not like, yeah, right, yeah.
Was your family or your husband able to come with you on location, or was it just you?
It was just me.
Wow.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been like I wouldn't have had time or emotional energy to have anyone else with. And yeah, so we all just from our various families and places as individuals, and that again, that helped, I think, to
Yeah,
bond us.
for sure.
Yeah, my roommate Dion Williams, who played Desiree, she and I think both of us at the beginning were both people who kind of, we like others, but if you're going to live with somebody, you kind of look to see if you're going to trust them. And I think very quickly we both decided, yeah, this is a beautiful human being I
Oh,
can
that's awesome.
trust, I can talk to, I can act with, and yeah. So it was just individual actors coming. Yeah.
So I've given my 2-second review or thoughts on the film. For anybody listening to this, if so, what would you say is the story of Dolphin Island? What would you hope the takeaway would be from Dolphin Island?
Well, first of all, I'll say that there are a number of themes. Of course, being
Mhm.
an English professor, I'm always looking for themes.
Right.
And there are a number of themes that are strong and very well conceived and well developed in
Yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
Kudos to the writers. And I know, for example, our director, Mike Disa, was doing a number of rewrites and adaptations of the script as we were on location, and it was organically becoming stronger and tighter even as we were filming. And it one of the themes I think that rises to the top for me, that has great importance for me, and I hope people take away, is this idea I alluded to before, and that is life is about so much more than doing the things that are expected of you, just
Yeah.
following in the steps of what you're supposed to do. And I'm going to go on a tiny rabbit trail because in my classes, especially the critical thinking classes, I usually start out with asking students what they think is the primary reason that they're there at college. And they're very normal college students. And so it's almost always one of two things. The noble thing to say, of course, is to expand my horizons, to extend my way of thinking. Yes, definitely. But when it really comes down to it, most people would not take that kind of time and pay that kind of money just to expand their horizons. Unfortunately, what it boils down to is I kind of didn't know what else to do. I graduated, and that's what everybody was doing. And you need a college degree to get a job, to get a career, and to make money, to get things like a house, and it's this list that our culture says you must do this.
Yeah.
And if you're missing a link, like if you don't make a good amount of money, for example, then you're not going to be happy.
Mm.
And that is just not true. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not anti-money.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
we all live in an economy, but I am very pro find who you are, find what you're meant to be, where you're meant to be, sort of find your calling on this earth and pursue it with everything you've got, trying really hard not to worry about expectations of others or general assumptions of society. And in Dolphin Island, we see, of course, Taylor Jade Nixon. Her character Annabelle had been raised by her parents when she was little in this place called Dolphin Island, and she had known nothing else. And then when her parents died, and that's not a spoiler because that's sort of pre-movie, right?
Right. Right.
When her parents died, her paternal grandfather, who had been given custody, had a choice, a big choice,
Mhm.
whether to do the easy thing and bring her back to England. He was a professor at Oxford, to bring her back to England, to the safe and financially, stable and predictable environment. And certainly a lot of people would consider that a fabulous and wonderful upbringing. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's not,
Mhm.
but for her and for the dreams that her parents had for her, this Dolphin Island place was a place that nurtured love. It nurtured happiness. Very much as I'm talking, the Bahamas themselves.
Right.
That's
For sure.
the way they are.
Yep.
I think of little side story. I think of one morning I had to try to go to the bank because ATMs were not necessarily working, and so I had to find a bank, and it supposedly opened at 9. And so I had to find a driver to take me off set. I promised I'd be back in 1 hour. And the driver drove me to downtown Freeport, and I found a bank. And I got in line outside with everybody. And it was like old home week. People were just going by, hey, how you doing? Hey, hello, brother, blah, blah, blah. And they're just talking to each other and talking to me. I didn't belong there, obviously, but they were including me and offering me to be part of their lives in crazy ways. I even got a marriage proposal. It was interesting, but in front of the ATM. But I mean, he was joking, but it's fun. And so we were having a great time. And then I looked down and I'm like, oh wait, it's about 7 minutes after 9. And in Milwaukee, that means that, there's been a pandemic or something that enables us not to open. But 7 after 9, and I said, excuse me, when does this open? And somebody said 9 or whenever. I was just
Right.
like, part of me wanted to
Awesome.
be like,
Yeah.
I promised I'd be back on set in an hour. And then part of me is like, set will survive, and
Yeah.
these people have it right.
Mm.
It's free, it's relaxed, it's
Yeah.
loving. They're still making progress toward their goals. The bank did open about 10 after 9, but it was so free and warm and wonderful. And for Jonah, the paternal grandfather, to choose to leave behind the expectations to become a professor at Oxford is, let's just say, no easy task, right?
Right.
And to leave that behind
Mhm.
and to go live on a boat and raise a little girl in the Bahamas with uncertainty, with just, living outside of being judged, I guess, by
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
elements of society. For him to do that and to have the beautiful results that he did
Yeah.
is something that I hope people take seriously. Not all of us have the opportunity to go to the Bahamas and raise a child on a boat
Right.
and live there forever,
Right.
but we may have a choice or several smaller choices during the course of a day. Like I think of myself as a mother, and one of the things I'm a little better at as a grandmother sometimes is stopping to take a few moments to appreciate and to play, I have one granddaughter who is a budding photographer. She's forever stealing her father's iPhone and taking pictures and sending them to me. And I can stop, even though I'm in the middle of something intense at work, I can say, she's really important. This is really what life is. This meeting, it'll still be there, but she's growing. And I need to grab hold of this rich moment and live in it. And so I hope people think about that as they watch Dolphin Island. At least that's one of the things I hope they think about.
And I did. I mean, I think when I watched it, the simplicity of and challenges of they live on a boat. I mean, that was their home. So I do love that they didn't put them up in some huge mansion and tell the story about how, I mean, I love that they were on a houseboat and it was very small, but that's all they needed because it got back to the core of what really matters. And their relationship was so fantastic. And I would have to assume it was that way in real life because it really, just like yours, your moment that you all had, I felt like their relationship was really special. And I felt myself cast in that role, with my own girls or, one day with grandchildren. I mean, you just have this loving spirit for someone that's under your care. I really, really loved how that played out. And again, it made the scene when on the spoiler alert, even harder. It was really special. And we haven't even touched on the dolphins. The dolphins were incredible. So what was it like working with the dolphins? I mean, because they're a part of the movie.
Yeah, they're a huge part. In fact, I aspire to be the kind of actor that a dolphin is in future years, and I'm only partially kidding. When I first got there, just to see them swimming around and everything was amazing. But when they actually started having them do things for the film, they were so amazingly on cue.
Wow.
And they're so smart, Aaron. They're so smart. I mean, we've heard that.
Yeah.
But to watch it, for example, one of our wonderful producers gave us as a thank you, anybody in the cast and crew who wanted to, an afternoon of swimming with the dolphins in the ocean. It was
So
just
wonderful.
unbelievable. And as we're out there, they would have them do different things. If you raise your arms in a certain way, they'll do a particular trick, or they'll swim up and give you a kiss, or those kinds of things. And I had one dolphin in particular who I did most of my little things with. From that moment on, whenever I would walk along that dock, that dolphin, no matter where he was, would swim up, come up, start talking to me, nodding. I mean, he knew me from then on. I was his friend out of all those people. And to me, that's, I don't even recognize humans that well sometimes. But I know the face, can't remember her name.
Knew who it is.
Right. But they, I honestly, perhaps it happened when I was not around, but I honestly never saw a dolphin miss a cue. And so they were just a joy and a delight and amazing to work with. Yeah, that was
awesome.
Cool.
That had to be a bucket list. This has, I mean, just talking through it and listening to it, this had to be a bucket list item for you. One, to be in this now, this space that you always wanted to be in. Oh, by the way, it's in the Bahamas with dolphins that are awesome, and a cast that's awesome. Like that had to, this had to really be special for you. It's almost, what could top this? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's true. It was so wonderful. I was laughing the other day because it's been exactly a year since we were filming, and in fact, on my Google Photos memories, things are popping up today. This morning, I'm like, a year ago. Wow. And but a little more than a year ago. I can't remember if it was November-ish, they had sent out the breakdown. And when you're an actor, you apply to lots of breakdowns if they
Right.
fit you and what you're trying to do. And then what you have to do, I've learned, is let it go. You know, you may get a call back, but then you just have to put it out of your mind
Yeah.
and never think about it again, because the vast majority, even for people who are absolute A-list actors, if you've read articles about how many things they've auditioned for that they don't get, you know, it will tear you apart if you're like, oh, I gotta have that. Oh, I wonder if you do your best and then you let it go and
Wow.
you're thankful for the opportunity. So I remember sitting, looking at the breakdowns. I was starting to apply. It was late at night. And my youngest son, who at that time was a sophomore in college, came in. And I started laughing and he said, what is it? And I said, here's one that's filming in the Bahamas. What would you think if your mom took off to the Bahamas to make a movie? And we're both like, ha, 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 ha. And so I applied to it and I got a call back, which kind of freaked me out. And so I did the, of course, virtual callback. And then I just let it go and didn't even think about it again. And that was, I believe, November. And then in early January, I was actually teaching a class, a night class at Carthage. And I see an email pop up from the producer saying, you know, can you give me a call as soon as possible? And I'm like, of course, I had to act all. Hello, yes. Oh, film in the Bahamas? Yeah, sure, I can do that. You know, I hear everyone and just scream. I literally scream. People are surprised at security.
Class, let's take 5.
Yeah.
Let's take 5. I got to answer this.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I know, and they were also a good part of it too, because I ended up having to do my class virtually for the last portion of the class to start filming. And this was before COVID, so nobody was doing class virtually. Yeah. But they were all so excited. They were like, yes, yes. And it turned out just fine. They got good education and I got to be in the film. But so anyway, yeah, then when it actually unfolded, it was really surreal, actually, the fact that I kept having to say, I'm in the Bahamas to make a movie, you know?
Yes.
And yes. It was definitely a bucket list, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I've so enjoyed our time. Honestly, this is so fun to see kind of behind the scenes. But I think the point of us being on here, because we could probably talk all night about things like this, but the point of us being on was the movie. So yes. Anyone listening to this podcast or watching it, how do they see the movie? When is it? Is it out? Where do they find it? All those good things. Sorry, we probably should have talked about that.
No, that's good. I have been told that it will be released March 2nd.
Okay.
And the only thing that I was told was all outlets.
Okay.
So I imagine it will be very easy to find.
Okay.
I'm guessing places like Netflix, Hulu, and I probably shouldn't mention all of them because I don't want to prioritize any particular outlet. Okay. But, you know, certainly if someone were to just Google Dolphin Island near the release date, they would be able to see places that, or venues that they could get to the movies. So yeah, it's coming soon. It's just
it's right around the corner. And I'm sure they've sent me links that I'll make sure I have in my blog post.
Great.
People listen, so. No, I'm just kidding. I'll put it in my blog post. I'm really excited. I think it's such a warm and heartwarming film. Again, as I said before, for a time like this, you know, you're in Wisconsin, so you probably have a few feet of snow on the ground. We have a couple inches on the ground outside. It's cold. This is a really good chance to see some beautiful landscape, but also, I mean, honestly, the landscape's gorgeous, but the story is really special. And it's as I said again, and I don't mean that in any other way, it's respectfully, I say it's very simple. It's not Transformers. There's not explosions. it's just a really cool story, and it really tugs at the heartstrings. And you did a great job. The producers, everybody, this has just been such an honor to have you on, and to just meet you and hear about the backstory behind this whole thing has been wonderful.
It's been a joy, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I will have all this. Is there any other links that you want to share for you personally outside of the film? Is there anything that I need to include in the blog post for you personally?
I don't think so. Right now, my main hope is that people will be able to access and will find Dolphin Island. I really think they'll be surprised at how much they love it.
Yeah.
Like you say, how heartwarming it is. And like you said, especially at this time, I don't know if I have 30 seconds to tell one more story.
Absolutely. It's unscripted.
Okay.
You have all night.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Okay. I had an experience that to me ties into the movie a few days ago. I have one class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it turned out that my schedule, that class was my only Wednesday class. And I thought, well, maybe they just want to go virtual because, you know, students are always wanting to get out of class. And I thought that would, and so I presented it to them. I said, would you like to in class Monday and Friday and be virtual on Wednesdays? Would that be nice with your schedules? There was a time of silence. And then one young woman said, I hate to say it, but this is the most normal life gets in this class. And somebody else said, yeah, absolutely. And pretty soon the entire, I teach in the small auditorium, and the entire auditorium was full of students with one voice saying to me, we want to be together. Human connection and human relationships are what matter to us right now, in just a poignant way. And as I was thinking about the film coming out right at this time, the fact that it's a family film, the fact that grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, kids, even little kids, the little kids will be enthralled by the cinematography and the dolphins and everything. There is something for every age group, and we can come together, we can watch it together, we can talk about it together. And it's a bonding and connecting thing, not an isolating thing that sometimes watching certain types of media can be, but I think right now this type of media is really good at bringing us together. So I do hope people find the film. I know they'll love it if they access it and watch it.
And I will do my best to share it and do my part, because I think you're right. And I think that's the story of the film. That's, as you said, there's many themes. But one of the big themes is like, we have to be together, and those relationships are so important. No matter what, you know, there's a variety of relationships in the film, but they're all important, and we need that more than anything. So this is such a great film for a time like this. And honestly, this has been such an honor for me. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and just everything. I really appreciate this, and I look forward to the film, and just God bless you and your entire family, all of them. And I hope they all get down to the Bahamas soon.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. I've enjoyed this so much, and God bless you and yours.
Thank you so much. God bless.